You are listening to the ERP Organizational Change Journal, a podcast brought to you by Nestell and Associates.
So let me ask you this, Brett. Speaking of project management, as you had alluded to in the previous responses, you've talked to this idea of technology and people and processes. But from your experience implementing ERP, what would you say are the most critical aspects of ERP implementation project management? So just from a project management perspective, can you share any insight with our listeners and any key ideas?
Sure, absolutely. I focus on three areas. So number one, competency. You got to know your stuff, right? You have to understand the skills and the activities that a project manager is responsible for. I see that kind of like as the basics. You have to know the basics. Along with that, what's also important is your attitude. As a project manager, and I can say this freely, I've never been on the same project twice. There's always some difference. And I'm always hitting something that, that's new. That's new. This is a wrinkle I never encountered before. Or this situation, I'm working with the customer, their organization is different than what I've seen before. So having the right attitude to be aggressive and know that it's a challenge, that each customer is going to present you with challenges. And how are you going to react to those challenges? Are you going to see that as a learning opportunity, as a way to improve? Or, the other side, look at it as, okay, it's an inconvenience, right? You look at it as an inconvenience, guess what? That's going to directly impact the customer and their experience, whether you say it directly or not. But if you see it as, okay, here's an opportunity for me to stretch, because that's when customer satisfaction goes up.
Yeah.
Because the experience is that much better.
I love what you say about the attitude piece, right? I think that's a huge factor in success. And I think it is something that a lot of ERP implementation practitioners may undervalue, is just this general idea of attitude. And, the idea that you mentioned, it's how you react to challenges. And I think it is important that, sometimes going into a project from a project management perspective, it's all about just preventing the challenges from happening to begin with, right? It's about being extremely proactive. But I also think that just given the nature and reality of ERP implementation, that you can't prevent all the challenges, but what you can do is react to those challenges in the proper way. So it's fine to try to prevent, through all the tactical mechanisms that project management brings to us and the best practices, but it's also just as much about being prepared in the way that you react to and respond to challenges. So I really like that comment.
Right. Absolutely, Jake. It's just being practical and knowing that, hey, you're going to fall flat on your face on this project somewhere, somehow. It's best to be prepared and be able to address it versus trying to do everything as possible to minimize risk. So the other two areas is credibility and then transparency. What I mean by credibility is you take ownership. You have a certain reputation that the customer knows that when something is given to you or is escalated to you, they know it's going to get taken care of. And of course, that's built over time with any project. But that's important in terms of the success for a project manager, is that the customer trusts you. They see you not as a third party, but as an integral partner in the project team. Yeah. And that they know that, hey, if you're responsible for this, or this has been identified for you, that you're going to see this to conclusion. And that kind of gets back to that attitude and just tenacity. It's a lot of hustle to be a good project manager. That might sound, simple. It's just true. And then transparency. Say what you can do and what you can't do. Yep. Be honest. If it's something like, hey, this is my first time I'm running into this experience, or yes, you know what? I dropped the ball here. Here's what we're going to do to get that addressed. Again, customers know and understand that project managers and SI partners, they're people too. Everyone's going to make mistakes. It's how you react to those mistakes that's very telling and really determines if you're going to build that trust or create concern.